Welcome back to another episode of Whitetail Bushcraft. Doing a little wild foraging. Looking for some wild edibles. Definitely want to pick some ramps today. Love the springtime. Woods just come back to life with plant life. Little duck back in there. Definitely too late for the fiddleheads. These are the ostrich ferns. You can see them popping up here. Here's some burdock. It's a wild edible. You can actually eat the roots. You use the leaves to wrap up meat to cook in a fire. Got some pheasant back. They're up. Nice big old patch of ramps. Just perfect for picking. Nice bulbs, perfect size. One way to tell is just by the smell. Purple stem and the beautiful leaves. Usually the first bit of green you see in the woods once spring comes. This is a perfect time to pick them. Got a pretty big bag going of them. Definitely getting some rain. this time. Glad I brought the Gore-Tex. I'll look on my way out. If I find anything, I'll turn the camera back on, but thanks for joining me on this little trek. Alright, I'm back at the house. One thing I like to do with these leeks is, of course, always make my pesto. And the more of the heads that you use, the stronger it'll be. But it's real simple ingredients: salt, pepper, Parmesan cheese, and olive oil. And this pesto can be put on wild game, bird, steak, chicken, it doesn't matter. But you can also use it in a leek soup, potato leek soup. First thing I do is just break these beautiful green leaves down. Cut up some of the heads a little bit. And I just add them to a processor. You might hear my dog in the background. And I'll break them down first, and then I'll add the other ingredients. And I just do it touchy-feely. Just add me some olive oil. I don't be shy with it. And this will stay for a good 6 weeks in the fridge. Great to bring out for camping, wild cooking. Add a little Parmesan. A little bit of salt. A little bit of pepper. I like mine spicy. Look at that, beautiful. A little bit more chopped up. Now that pesto, like I say, will last a long time in the fridge. Do a little taste test on that. Oh, son. Just don't get no better than that. But like I say, you add this to your potato leek soup. It's a great way to make soup. Add it to wild game, bird, chicken, steaks. It's wonderful. Give it a little bit more chopping. It's one thing I like about springtime. All these wild edibles out there. Just seems like the woods come alive too. Well, since it's raining outside, I'm going to go ahead and make some potato leek soup, my version of it. There's a lot of versions out there on YouTube and they look pretty good. And this is just my version. I'm not saying one's better than the other. Something you might want to try. Going to start out peeling some yellow potatoes, probably 6 or 7 of them for this recipe. I'm going to make a pretty good pot. I'm also in a frying pan going to start sweating a sweet onion, probably about half of one. I'm going to be sweating these onions with some bacon. I like to use the thick cuts. And that will probably be one of our main ingredients. After they come to a boil, I'll probably drain off 2/3 of that water, and then we'll add our chicken stock. And I want these onions to absorb that bacon grease, be part of the flavoring. Like to get the onions and the bacon pretty crispy. That way it'll put a little texture into the soup. Getting there though. And just about when the potatoes are almost tender, I'll drain them off and add my broth and my milk. Alright, I drained them off. There's probably about a third of the water left. I'm going to add my chicken stock. Also going to add about 4 cups of milk. Alright, bacon and onions are ready to go in there. Putting that in a pot with the potatoes. You can see I get them good and crispy. It's all up to you though. Add my ramp pesto. This stuff goes a long ways too, so I'm probably putting a 1/4 of a cup. I'll give it that green hue to it. One little trick I do, and I do this camping a lot also, when I'm making like a potato soup or a potato leek soup, is I'll add about 1/2 cup of instant mashed potatoes, and that'll thicken it up, give it more of that gravy feel. You gotta watch, you can't add too much of this or you'll end up with it being too thick. Good little trick though. Bring this to a boil to where the potatoes are nice and tender, and she's ready to serve. And I'm going to add a little bit of pepper. Plenty of salt already just from the bacon. I like to garnish it with a ramp leaf or leek leaf, a little Parmesan cheese, and it's time to test it. Oh, son, just don't get no better than that. Since you can't have a soup, I'm going to give her some of the bacon. Just getting big. 14 weeks now. Bella.